Shalom, brothers. I'm Yaromya, alright, from the Toronto camp, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and double honors to the elders, of course, Great Millstone, and shalom to the elect, pushing the truth. And this video is on the Tribe of Issachar, alright, which is the so-called Mexicans, alright, known as the Aztecs. And also in the video I should have put Mayans too, because the Mayans and Aztecs met, and the priests of the Mayans were actually Issacharites. I'm going to explain that later on. So yeah, let's start in Genesis 49, verse 14. It says, Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. So when it says Issachar is a strong ass, the word Issachar itself, Issachar means he is hired. Yash Shakar. Alright, he is hired. Meaning that they're very good workers, they're strong workers. If you know about Mexicans, they can work very hard. Alright, they're not lazy like the white man portrays them. Alright, they're not no, thieves and all that shit. They're hard workers, and the white man knows his prophecy. That's why he takes advantage of it. Okay? So it says Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens. And an ass is what? A donkey. When one of the Mexican symbols or emblems or stereotypes, whatever you want to call it, is a Mexican on a donkey, right? And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, right? Mexico is a pleasant land. Tijuana, you crackers go up there, you have your vacations, and bowed his shoulder to bear. What is he bearing? The tribulation, man. All this shit that he went through. The conquistadors coming through and shit, And then they had to fight with the Americans, because America had to take over what? Arizona, California, all those lands, Texas. That was all Mexico's land, and became a servant unto tribute. Who did he become a servant unto tribute? Unto the conquistadors. Right, because they made the mine the gold there, till the land, and then the scriptures and the curses, it says, what does it say? It says, ye shall till the vineyard, but ye shall not gather the grapes. You're working for someone else, for someone else's profit, right? So just to prove, just further go into how the Mexicans are very hard workers, I'm going to go on this website. It's from the Globe and Mail. It says, does hard work pay off? Ask the Mexicans. And I already highlighted it in this, so I'm going to read this part. Alright. So it says, according to an OECD report published earlier this year, Mexicans are the hardest working people in the world, or at least in 29 of the world's most advanced economies. As calculated by the Paris-based organization, Mexicans work on average of 595 minutes a day, 5 minutes short of 10 hours. Of this time, 253 minutes, 4 hours and 13 minutes, are unpaid. Time spent on cooking, cleaning, and other everyday chores. In contrast, the average OECD work day is 480 minutes, which is 8 hours. Says, does hard work pay off? Mexicans may not always think so. Their country has the highest level of relative poverty, according to the survey, 1 person in 5. The OECD averages 1 in 10. Why the difference? In part is because much of women's work is unpaid. Mexican women work for 4 hours and 21 minutes a day more than men on unpaid work, compared with 2 hours and 28 minutes for the average OECD woman. 1 hour and 42 minutes for the average North American woman, and 57 minutes for the average Danish woman. Them crackers living good up there, man. Whose country boasts the smallest gender gap of this kind. Expressed in minutes of work a day, here are the top 10 hardest working countries. Number 1 is Mexico, and you can read the rest. Japan, Portugal, Canada, Estonia, etc. Alright, Mexico's the hardest working country, man. And right now I'm going to show you this video. Alright, it's called Brothers Don't Work as Hard as Mexicans. Now this guy's Uncle Tom, but he brought a good point, so I'm gonna show you the clip now.
Charleston Senator Robert Ford was speaking out against an Arizona-style immigration bill during a Senate committee meeting Tuesday. He said the state needs immigrant workers because they're willing to do jobs no one else wants.
I know brothers. When I say brother, I'm talking about right now based on race. I'm talking about black guys. And they're not going to do that work at Boeing with all that dirt and stuff to be hauled to build that plant. Ain't no brothers going to do that. Not like a Mexican will.
He also said his blue-eyed, pale-skinned brothers wouldn't do yard work.
Senator Ford says he was not trying to be critical of anyone. He was just pointing out that throughout American history, there have always been groups who did the work no one else wanted to do, and those people later became citizens.
I say I'm asking my black brothers, my European brothers, my Chinese brothers, and my blue-eyed brothers to accept my Mexican brothers because now they're trying to work themselves up into citizenship.
But his comments are getting national attention and drawing criticism from the chair of his party.
His constituents are mostly African Americans, and from what Senator Ford said, he says they don't work hard enough to have the jobs at Boeing.
Senator Ford says his comments are not racist.
No, 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 no. That's the gospel. That is the gospel. Americans, basically, once we become Americanized, certain jobs we simply not going to do. Now, everybody who watching this newscast know that. They know that. So why are you going to jump on me for telling the truth?
In Columbia, Robert Kittle, 7 on your side.
You know, that was a point. Already brought up the good point. Mexicans don't work. Brothers don't work as hard as Mexicans. Really, crackers, all those nations, they don't work as hard as Israelites. Alright, but that was the point because Mexicans, you know, as a blessing, are hard workers, man. You know, right now it's just a curse because they're under tribute. They're working for minimum wages. But back in the ancient world, you know, they be working, you know, their own field, their own land, you know, luscious fruits and, you know, vegetables, you know, grain and stuff like that. But right now we're under a curse because it says, what does it say here? It says, couching down between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Okay. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy. Book of Deuteronomy 33, verse 18. And it says, and of Zebulun, which were the Mayans, basically, you know, but like I was saying before, the Issacharites, the priests of the Mayans were basically the Issacharites, you know, because they were blessed with telling time and looking up in the skies and knowing the signs and all that stuff. Alright, so, and of Zebulun he said, rejoice Zebulun in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tents, because Issachar and Zebulun, they were close. They actually had two empires in close proximity, the Mayans and Aztecs. Alright, they shall call the people unto the mountain, there shall they sacrifice, there they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, because at one point in this land, in America, they actually did sacrifice righteousness. They actually kept the laws. They went up in the mountains, they sacrificed the righteousness of the Most High. You know, for they shall suck of the abundance of the seas, and of the treasures hidden in the sand, which tells, you know, they're going into it about the oil, because there's actually a lot of oil in Mexico. There's a lot of oil in Mexico. Alright, so I'm going to show you what I meant by the Issacharite, the priests of the Mayans were basically, they were Issacharites really, because that was their blessing. First Chronicle 12 and 32, and it says, and of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do, the heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment. Salakia, were at their commandment. So the point is, in the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times. Alright, I'm gonna look that word up actually, just see what it says. But the point is that you had the Issacharites, they told the time, like they could look up in the sky. They said, okay, the Sabbath is next evening, you know, the Passover is next evening, You know, if there's a shooting star, what we call a shooting star, or you know, a sign in the sky, you know, they would understand it. The Most High blessed them with that understanding. Yeah, time, which is ath, means time, of an event, time, usual, experiences, fortunes, occurrence, right? Because you can have occurrences in the sky, right? Occasion, all right? Yeah, you know, that was a point. I'm gonna show you in the scriptures about that too. But first, I'm gonna go to this article, Maya astrology. It's from Wikipedia. You can type in Maya, the Mayans, and then go to the astronomy section. So I'm going to read the highlighted part. It says, uniquely, there is some evidence to suggest the Maya, remember the priests of the Mayans were the Issacharites, the Maya appeared to be the only pre-telescopic civilization to demonstrate knowledge of the Orion Nebula as being fuzzy, example, not a stellar pinpoint. Now the Orion, that's in the scriptures. I'm going to show you that after this. The information which supports this theory comes from a folk tale that deals with the Orion constellation's area of the sky. Their traditional hearths include in their middle a smudge of glowing fire that corresponds with the Orion Nebula. This is a significant clue to support the idea that the Maya detected a diffuse area of the sky contrary to the pinpoints of stars before the telescope was invented. So they didn't even need a telescope to understand all those things, showing you that they had the blessing of knowing, you know, the signs in the sky, so to speak. All right, let's go to book of Job 38 and 31. It says, canst thou bind the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in his season, or canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons? Now all these names, I'm gonna look them up. Matter of fact, they're actually constellations, systems of stars. Alright, just to prove it. So I'm gonna go to the first one, Pleiades, which is Kayama, which means a constellation of 7 stars, a heap cluster. Alright, and you can Google these names too. You know, you'll find out. Alright.